The Skill Stack Strategy. Build more, earn more, become unstoppable. Written by Ronnie Rowland. Published by Growth Literacy Lounge. Your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change. Jim Rohn. Imagine standing at a crowded intersection, watching streams of people rush by, each carrying dreams, ambitions, and talents. Some are sprinting, chasing a finish line they can barely see. Others wander, stuck between destinations they never chose. A few, however, move differently, purposefully, strategically, almost effortlessly carving new paths where none existed before. What separates them? It's not raw talent or luck. It's something else entirely. A quiet, powerful strategy hidden in plain sight. Skill stacking. You hold in your hands a blueprint for transformation that doesn't rely on being born a genius or winning the lottery of life. The skill stack strategy isn't about chasing perfection or confining yourself to one identity. It's about building layers of abilities, intentionally, courageously, until you become a rare and unstoppable force in any room you enter. In a world that's changing faster than ever, specializing narrowly is no longer a safety net, it's a trap. The real winners are those who can connect ideas across fields, adapt to shifting tides, and create value in ways others can't. They don't wait for the world to recognize them. They build the combination no one else thought to build. This book isn't about theory. It's a roadmap, packed with actionable steps, real-world examples, and visceral truths. It will challenge you to think differently about your talents, your opportunities, and your future. Each chapter is designed to help you build your own unstoppable stack, starting where you are, using what you have, and stacking with relentless intention. You don't need to be the best in the world at anything. You need to be good enough at the right things, combined in a way that makes you stand out in a crowded, noisy world. The skill stack strategy isn't just a career tool, it's a life strategy. It's the key to creating a future where you don't just survive, you thrive on your own terms. If you're ready to stop waiting for doors to open and start building your own, turn the page. Your journey to becoming unstoppable starts now. Chapter 1. Becoming Unstoppable. On a gray Tuesday afternoon, a young woman named Eliza sat in her cramped apartment, staring at yet another rejection email. She had done everything she was told to do, majored in marketing, graduated near the top of her class, and even completed an unpaid internship. Still, every opportunity seemed just out of reach. As she scrolled through job listings, a bitter realization crept in. Being good at one thing wasn't enough anymore. At first, the idea felt overwhelming. How could anyone master everything? But Eliza stumbled onto a concept that shifted her path forever: the skill stack strategy. It wasn't about becoming a world-class expert in a single discipline. It was about being intentionally good enough at several complementary skills, creating a rare, unstoppable combination. In a world overflowing with specialists, those who could bridge gaps, translate ideas, and synthesize solutions were the ones carving out their own lanes. Suddenly, Eliza saw a different future, one where she didn't need permission to advance, one where she could build her own value. The skill stack strategy offers a simple but profound truth: success today doesn't belong to those who obsess over perfecting one narrow skill. It belongs to those who can weave multiple abilities into a tapestry uniquely their own. A copywriter who understands psychology and design becomes a force. A project manager who can code a little, present ideas with flair, and motivate teams becomes indispensable. These stacks don't add value linearly, they multiply it exponentially. Each new skill enhances and elevates the others, creating versatility that no single discipline expert can match. The heart of becoming unstoppable lies in seeing yourself not as a title or a role, but as an evolving mosaic of capabilities. It starts by identifying one's strength, the skill you're naturally drawn to, or have already developed, and building around it with adjacent skills that amplify its impact. No one needs to be a master of all trades. In fact, 70% proficiency in several interconnected skills can often outshine 100% mastery of one. It's not about perfection, it's about intentional layering. Those who embrace this mindset escape the invisible prisons that trap others. They aren't dependent on a single career track, or beholden to outdated definitions of expertise. They can pivot when industries shift. They can create opportunities rather than chase them. They move from being applicants to being architects of their own futures. The world doesn't pay premiums for narrow mastery anymore. It pays for versatility. It rewards those who can connect dots others don't even see. It treasures those who can solve complex, cross-disciplinary problems with insight and speed. Eliza, once paralyzed by rejection, understood this. She took evening courses in copywriting, volunteered to manage small design projects, and read voraciously about digital marketing psychology. Within 18 months, she wasn't applying for jobs, companies were reaching out to her. Becoming unstoppable isn't about grinding yourself into the ground, or becoming a jack of all trades, master of none. It's about stacking skills strategically until the weight of your value is undeniable. It's about building a life where you're not competing for a seat at someone else's table, you're crafting a table of your own. The journey begins here, with a simple but daring decision, to stop waiting for permission and start building your stack. Each new skill you layer on isn't just a new tool, it's a new doorway, a new lever, a new way to multiply your impact, income, and independence. In the chapters ahead, you'll learn exactly how to identify, choose, acquire, and integrate the skills that will make you unstoppable. The process is simpler and more exciting than you might think, and it starts today. Skill stacking multiplies value rather than simply adding it. You don't need world-class expertise, layered proficiency is enough. Building your own stack puts you in control of your future. Where in your life have you been relying on a single skill when a stack could set you free? Write down your current top skill and brainstorm 3 adjacent skills that could multiply its power. Chapter 2. The Myth of Mastery. For decades, the world worshipped at the altar of mastery. The idea was simple and seductive: pick one skill, one craft, one narrow focus, and devote your life to it. Excellence, we were told, belonged only to those who specialized, who stayed in their lane, who sacrificed breadth for depth. Doctors, lawyers, concert pianists, chess grandmasters. Their stories of relentless practice and singular obsession were held up as the gold standard of success. But beneath the surface of those tales, another truth simmered quietly. Most people don't thrive when they lock themselves into one narrow path. The economy doesn't stand still. Industries rise and fall. Technology reshapes jobs at a blistering pace. What happens to the master craftsman when the craft becomes obsolete? What happens to the expert when their expertise is no longer in demand? Mastery, once the ultimate security, has quietly become a risky bet. The world no longer rewards deep but isolated mastery the way it once did. It craves adaptability. It craves those who can pivot, combine, and innovate. In today's marketplace, being a world-class expert in a single thing might win admiration, but it doesn't guarantee relevance, income, or freedom. What wins now is versatility, the ability to connect ideas across domains, and to build bridges where others see walls. James, a mid-level software developer, learned this the hard way. For years, he focused solely on refining his coding skills. He wrote clean, efficient code better than almost anyone on his team. But when his company underwent a massive reorganization, coding alone wasn't enough. Suddenly, developers who could lead projects, communicate with clients, and translate technical jargon into business strategy became far more valuable. James, brilliant but one-dimensional, found himself struggling to stay afloat. Contrast that with Mia, a developer of average technical skill but exceptional breadth. She wasn't the best coder, but she had also honed her skills in project management, user experience design, and persuasive communication. When the company pivoted, Mia didn't just survive, she became indispensable. Her skill stack made her the glue between departments. Her adaptability made her leadership material. While specialists were laid off, she was promoted. The myth of mastery persists because it's clean and noble. There's something romantic about devoting yourself to one pursuit. But the reality is messier. Real-world success is often about messy, imperfect layers. It's about learning enough to bridge disciplines, to see patterns others miss, to adapt when change is the only constant. The world belongs to the connectors, the integrators, the stackers. This doesn't mean mastery is worthless. In some fields, medicine, law, aerospace engineering, deep expertise is essential, But even there, the most influential figures often combine technical mastery with other critical skills: leadership, storytelling, negotiation, empathy. It's never just about knowing more. It's about doing more with what you know. Skill stacking offers a powerful alternative. Instead of obsessing over perfecting one skill, you build a resilient network of abilities that support and elevate each other. You become hard to define and harder to replace. You're not just a coder, or a marketer, or a coach. You're a translator of ideas, a builder of systems, a solver of multidimensional problems. Believing in the myth of mastery keeps people trapped. It whispers that if they just get a little better, a little sharper at that one thing, their big break will come. But freedom comes from realizing you don't have to wait. You can build now. You can stack now. You can create a career, a business, and a life that bends to your strengths rather than boxing you in. In the chapters ahead, the blueprint unfolds. You'll learn not just how to build your stack, but how to choose wisely, layer intentionally, and craft a future where you are rare, valuable, and unshakably free. Mastery alone is no longer a guaranteed path to success. Skill stacking creates resilience, adaptability, and rare value. Freedom comes from building breadth, not just depth. Where have you been clinging to the myth of mastery instead of building versatility? List 3 skills outside your current expertise that intrigue you. These could be seeds for your future stack. Chapter 3. The 70% Rule. When Marcus first heard the idea, he thought it was a mistake. Why would anyone aim for 70% when the world preached 100% excellence? All his life, the message had been clear: if you weren't striving for mastery, you were settling for mediocrity. But as he sat in a crowded workshop led by a seasoned entrepreneur, a single sentence flipped his entire perspective. You don't need to be world-class at everything. You just need to be good enough at the right things. The 70% rule breaks the chains of perfectionism. It recognizes that in a world demanding agility and breadth, spending years to perfect one skill can actually be a disadvantage. Instead, by reaching about 70% proficiency in multiple complementary skills, an individual creates a combination that is far more valuable than solitary expertise. Think of a jazz musician who plays the piano decently, sings reasonably well, and writes memorable lyrics. None of these skills alone may be enough to stand out, but stacked together, they create a performer who can mesmerize an audience. Or consider the entrepreneur who understands product design, marketing psychology, and financial management, not a world-class expert in any one, but formidable in combination. These people don't wait to be perfect. They know that at 70% competency, they are already dangerous in the best way. Marcus realized that striving for 100% in coding alone had limited him. Every time a new programming language emerged, he scrambled to catch up, always feeling behind. But what if he shifted his focus? Instead of trying to master every new tool, he could get good enough to build functioning prototypes, then layer on communication skills to pitch his ideas, and basic business acumen to sell them. The combination would make him far more valuable than being a flawless coder tucked away behind a screen. The beauty of the 70% rule is its emphasis on action over endless preparation. Mastery is slow. Skill stacking is swift. By aiming for good enough across several disciplines, progress accelerates, opportunities expand, and momentum builds. Most people overestimate the need for perfection and underestimate the power of momentum. This rule also speaks to psychological freedom. Perfectionism is a thief. It robs people of confidence, creativity, and courage. It whispers that they aren't ready yet, that they must keep polishing, keep tweaking, keep hiding until flawless. But life rewards those who ship, who show up, who build stacks and put them to work, imperfections and all. There's a subtle genius to 70% competency. At that level, a person knows enough to understand the big picture, to collaborate intelligently, to lead conversations, and to troubleshoot creatively. They aren't stuck in the weeds of any one domain. They are versatile, resourceful, and able to translate across disciplines. In a world increasingly driven by cross-functional teams and interdisciplinary innovation, this is not just valuable, it's essential. Marcus committed to the 70% rule. He mapped out a plan to strengthen his presentation skills, learn basic UX design principles, and study entrepreneurial finance. None of these pursuits demanded years of study. A few months of focused effort would get him to 70% in each. Instead of feeling trapped by his technical background, he felt unleashed. His value was no longer tied to how perfectly he could code, but how creatively he could connect skills to solve problems. The 70% rule is an invitation to act before you feel fully ready, to stack boldly instead of waiting for mastery, and to believe that good enough in several key areas is not settling, it's strategy. Those who embrace it move faster, adapt quicker, and build stacks that make them unstoppable. 70% proficiency across key skills beats 100% mastery of one skill. Perfectionism stalls momentum, stacking builds it. Strategic breadth creates rare, versatile value. Where in your life are you waiting for perfection, instead of taking action at 70%? Choose one skill you've been hesitating to pursue and commit to reaching 70% proficiency over the next 90 days. Chapter 4. The Anatomy of a Skill Stack. When Daniel first heard about skill stacks, the concept sounded too abstract. How could simply gathering a few skills turn into a superpower? It wasn't until he saw a real-world example that everything clicked. His mentor, Angela, wasn't the best designer, the best marketer, or the best writer. Yet somehow, she led multi-million-dollar campaigns and commanded fees that seasoned specialists envied. The secret wasn't any one skill, it was the way her skills interacted, supported, and magnified each other. A skill stack isn't just a list of abilities. It's a system where each skill strengthens the others. Think of it like the human body. Muscles, bones, organs, individually impressive, but their true power comes from how they work together. A stack is alive, dynamic, evolving with every new skill added, and just like the body, a weak link can compromise the whole structure. Building a powerful stack isn't about randomly collecting skills, it's about selecting and layering them intentionally. The foundation of any effective skill stack starts with a base skill. This is the skill that feels most natural, most energizing. It's the one you'd pursue, even if no one paid you for it. For Angela, it was design. From there, she layered adjacent skills that amplified her base: marketing strategy to ensure her designs converted, copywriting to craft compelling messages, and leadership skills to manage creative teams. None of these add-ons were world-class. But at 70% proficiency, woven together, they made her a force. Base skill. Adjacent skills. Amplification. That's the anatomy in its simplest form. The next layer involves context skills, those abilities that help you operate within broader systems. For Daniel, after choosing software development as his base, he realized he needed to understand business strategy, not just code. Learning how businesses made money helped him build solutions that mattered, not just elegant programs no one used. Suddenly, he wasn't just a coder, he was a problem solver. Personality and soft skills form another crucial layer. Storytelling, negotiation, emotional intelligence, conflict resolution. These are often invisible but exponentially increase the effectiveness of hard skills. A designer who can't communicate ideas persuasively loses out to a slightly less talented one who can. A software developer who empathizes with users builds better products than one who can't. In a world full of technical talent, soft skills become the ultimate force multipliers. Another powerful insight is that stacks don't have to be symmetrical. Some skills carry more weight than others. A lawyer who understands marketing can command clients. A chef who learns photography and social media can build a brand that outshines Michelin stars. It's not about balance, it's about synergy. One high-leverage skill can elevate the entire stack, while others simply support the structure. As Daniel built his own stack, he noticed an unexpected benefit: confidence. Every new skill layered into his system made him more agile, more resilient. Opportunities that once felt out of reach started appearing naturally. Clients trusted him with bigger projects. Teams looked to him for leadership. He wasn't the best developer in the room, but he was the most adaptable, the most resourceful, and often the most valuable. Understanding the anatomy of a skill stack changes everything. It transforms skills from isolated achievements into a living, breathing arsenal. It shifts the focus from perfection to connection, from competition to creation. Instead of trying to outdo specialists in their narrow fields, stackers create new fields altogether, spaces where their unique combinations dominate. In the chapters ahead, you'll learn exactly how to identify your base skill, choose your adjacent and context skills, and layer them into a stack that multiplies your value in ways no single skill ever could. A skill stack is a system of interconnected abilities, not a random collection. Base skills, adjacent skills, context skills, and soft skills work together to create exponential value. Stacking strategically creates confidence, resilience, and rare opportunities. Which base skill feels most natural and energizing for you, and what adjacent skills could you layer next? Write down your current base skill and brainstorm 3 adjacent or context skills to start developing. Chapter 5. Finding your base skill. Carmen always felt like she was chasing someone else's dream. She had cycled through majors, jobs, and hobbies, trying to find the one thing she was supposed to master. Nothing stuck. Nothing felt fully hers. It wasn't until she stumbled across the idea of a skill stack that everything shifted. She didn't need to find one perfect calling, she needed to identify her base skill, the first strong stone to build her stack upon. Finding a base skill isn't about discovering some hidden talent bestowed at birth. It's about noticing patterns in what already energizes you. It's the skill you return to when no one's watching, the one that feels less like work and more like play. Often it hides in plain sight because it comes so naturally that you don't even recognize it as valuable. Carmen started by asking herself a different set of questions. What problems do people consistently come to me for help with? What tasks leave me feeling more alive rather than drained? What subjects make me lose track of time when I'm learning about them? The answers weren't found in fancy assessments or personality tests. They were tucked inside ordinary moments she had overlooked. As she sifted through memories, a theme emerged: communication. Whether it was tutoring classmates, resolving conflicts at work, or even writing heartfelt posts online, Carmen's natural wiring leaned toward connection through words. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't a technical skill, but it was a real, valuable foundation. Once she saw it, she couldn't unsee it. Base skills fall into broad categories. Some people build from technical foundations like coding, design, or analytics, others from creative bases like storytelling, artistry, or ideation. Still others from relational strengths like negotiation, leadership, or empathy. There is no right answer. The only wrong move is ignoring the clues your life is already giving you. Once Carmen named communication as her base skill, everything shifted. Choosing adjacent skills became easier. Public speaking, copywriting, branding strategy, all natural extensions. Her stack started to take shape organically, not through force but through flow. And with each new layer, her confidence grew. She wasn't starting from scratch anymore. She was building upward, with a strong center that made every new skill more powerful. Another important insight: your base skill doesn't have to be something that earns you money immediately. It just needs to be something that lights a spark strong enough to sustain the journey. Passion fuels persistence. And in stacking, persistence matters more than natural genius. You can always monetize later. The first job is to build something worth offering. Many people make the mistake of choosing a base skill based on market trends or peer pressure. They chase what's hot instead of what's true. Lonely. But external validation is a weak foundation. Trends change. Skills fall in and out of fashion. Building on someone else's blueprint leaves you vulnerable. Building from your natural strengths makes you unshakable. Carmen didn't become a famous communicator overnight. But over time, her skill stack turned her into a sought-after brand strategist. Clients valued her ability to craft narratives that resonated, design messaging strategies, and coach leaders through presentations. She wasn't the best at any one piece, but together, her stack made her powerful. Finding your base skill is the beginning of becoming unstoppable. It's the moment you stop trying to fit yourself into molds that don't fit and start constructing something uniquely yours. One skill, named and claimed, can change the entire trajectory of your life. In the next chapter, you'll discover how to choose the right adjacent skills, ones that elevate and expand your base skill until your value becomes undeniable. Your base skill is the natural strength you enjoy and return to most. Building from personal passion creates sustainable momentum. Choosing a true base skill is more powerful than chasing trends. What activities or skills make you feel most alive and in flow, and how might they point to your base skill? Spend 15 minutes listing moments when you felt most energized by your work or hobbies. Look for the common thread. Chapter 6. Choosing adjacent skills. After Carmen discovered her base skill in communication, she felt an immediate surge of clarity. But the next question loomed large: what should she stack next? It wasn't enough to randomly pick skills based on curiosity alone. If she wanted to build something truly powerful, her next moves had to be intentional. Skill stacking isn't about collecting talents like trophies. It's about choosing adjacent skills that strengthen and expand the reach of your base. Adjacent skills are those that naturally complement your primary strength. They aren't redundant copies, they're amplifiers. They add new dimensions and unlock new arenas where your base skill can shine even brighter. Finding the right adjacent skills often starts by asking, what abilities would make my core strength more valuable, more versatile, or more profitable? Carmen began by thinking about her end goal. She didn't want to just communicate, she wanted to influence. She wanted to shape narratives, build brands, move audiences. With that vision in mind, the path became clearer. Public speaking, copywriting, and branding weren't just random choices, they were logical extensions. They made her a more complete communicator. Each new skill would open doors her base skill alone couldn't. The trick to choosing adjacent skills lies in two powerful forces: leverage and synergy. Leverage means that a small new skill dramatically increases the value of what you already offer. Synergy means that two skills combined produce an effect greater than either could alone. A graphic designer who learns copywriting doesn't just offer pretty visuals, they offer persuasive communication. A personal trainer who studies psychology doesn't just coach workouts, they coach transformation. Marcus, who had discovered coding as his base skill, realized this too. He could keep leveling up in programming languages endlessly, but what would truly set him apart was understanding business strategy and user experience design. These weren't tech skills per se, but they made his coding infinitely more relevant. Instead of simply building apps, he could build solutions that met real-world needs and positioned him as a strategist, not just a technician. When choosing adjacent skills, it's easy to get distracted by what's trendy. Everyone's learning video editing. Everyone's picking up AI tools. But trends are dangerous if they don't align with your base. Carmen didn't need to learn blockchain development just because it was hot. It didn't elevate her communication base. Skill stacking is not about chasing novelty, it's about deepening utility. Another powerful lens for choosing adjacent skills is to think about bottlenecks. Where does your base skill often hit a wall? Where do you find yourself wishing you knew a little more? A writer who often struggles with promoting their work could benefit from learning basic marketing. A data analyst who gets stuck presenting findings could benefit from learning storytelling techniques. Bottlenecks reveal strategic opportunities for stacking. Carmen also learned that adjacent skills don't need to be huge, life-consuming endeavors. A few months of focused effort, a side project, or a dedicated course could push her to 70% proficiency in public speaking. That was enough to make her far more valuable and confident than if she had tried to master it over years. Progress comes from layering swiftly and smartly, not waiting until you feel ready for the next step. Choosing adjacent skills is one of the most exciting parts of building a stack. It's where momentum accelerates and possibilities multiply. With each new layer, you're not just adding options, you're compounding your advantage. The path doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be intentional. A skill stack built with care transforms you into someone who doesn't just fit into existing opportunities, you create new ones. In the next chapter, you'll discover how unrelated skills, when stacked wisely, create even greater synergy than you might imagine. Adjacent skills should complement and amplify your base skill. Leverage and synergy are the guiding principles for stacking strategically. Smart stacking focuses on utility, not trends or randomness. What adjacent skills could make your base skill significantly more powerful or profitable? Choose one adjacent skill to start learning and map out a 30-day mini plan to build basic proficiency. Chapter 7. Skill Synergy. By the time Carmen had added a few adjacent skills to her base of communication, she noticed something unexpected. The skills weren't just stacking neatly one on top of another. They were blending, creating combinations more powerful than she had anticipated. It wasn't just that she could write better copy or deliver a decent speech. It was that her understanding of storytelling made her speeches compelling, and her branding knowledge made her copy irresistibly persuasive. The skills weren't separate anymore. They were working together, multiplying each other's impact. This was the magic of skill synergy. Skill synergy happens when the integration of two or more abilities produces results far beyond what each could achieve alone. It's like mixing blue and yellow paint. Instead of getting stripes of blue and yellow, you get an entirely new color, green, something distinct and vibrant. In the same way, when communication merges with branding, or coding with entrepreneurship, or design with psychology, the outcome is not a simple sum but a powerful new synthesis. Synergy explains why some people skyrocket past others with similar talents. It's not because they are marginally better at one thing. It's because their skill combinations create opportunities and outcomes that pure specialists can't replicate. A marketer who understands data analysis can craft campaigns that not only look good but deliver measurable results. A teacher who blends public speaking skills with tech savviness can reach audiences worldwide, not just in a classroom. Marcus experienced this firsthand. As he layered user experience knowledge onto his software development base, he found himself naturally positioned to lead projects. He wasn't just writing code anymore, he was shaping products that users loved. His colleagues, who focused solely on perfecting lines of code, missed the bigger picture. Marcus's modest proficiency in design principles made his technical skills dramatically more valuable. That small difference led to massive career acceleration. The beauty of synergy is that it doesn't demand mastery across all components. 70% proficiency, combined strategically, is enough to create leverage others don't even see. You don't need to be a world-class designer and a world-class writer. Being reasonably good at both often outperforms those who have perfected only one. Another hidden advantage of skill synergy is creative problem solving. When two or more perspectives live inside the same mind, innovation becomes easier. A person who understands both logistics and psychology can design customer experiences that feel seamless and satisfying. Someone who knows enough about coding and storytelling can build apps that feel intuitive and emotionally engaging. Diversity within your own skill set leads to breakthroughs that a siloed expert might never imagine. But synergy doesn't happen automatically. It requires conscious integration. It's not enough to simply learn several skills. You must practice combining them, weaving them together until they feel like one powerful whole. Carmen made it a habit to use her new skills in tandem. Every brand message she crafted became a practice ground where communication, marketing psychology, and storytelling merged. Over time, the blending became natural, instinctive. Understanding skill synergy shifts your entire approach to growth. Instead of chasing isolated achievements, you begin seeking intersections. You ask, how can these skills interact to create something greater? You stop viewing yourself as a collection of separate talents and start seeing yourself as an evolving system, agile, adaptive, unstoppable. As Carmen's skill stack matured, clients didn't hire her just for her copywriting or for her branding advice. They came for the rare combination she represented. She offered a synthesis they couldn't find elsewhere. That is the power of synergy, to move beyond competition and into creation, beyond expertise and into rare, irreplaceable value. In the next chapter, you'll learn why soft skills, often overlooked, are some of the most potent tools you can stack to magnify your impact even further. Skill synergy multiplies value by combining abilities creatively. You don't need mastery, strategic blending is more powerful. Integration, not just acquisition, is the secret to unstoppable growth. Where in your current skill set could two or more abilities combine to create unique value? Identify two skills you already have and brainstorm ways they could be combined into a project, offering, or new opportunity. Chapter 8. Stacking Soft Skills. When Carmen first started building her skill stack, she focused almost entirely on technical abilities. Copywriting, branding, marketing funnels, they were tangible, measurable, and easy to showcase. But as her client base grew, she encountered a new, unexpected barrier. It wasn't her technical skills that were holding her back. It was her ability to navigate conversations, build trust, and manage relationships. Technical prowess got her through the door, but soft skills determined whether she stayed in the room. Soft skills are often dismissed as secondary, optional, or even fluffy. But in reality, they are the hidden engines that drive influence, leadership, and long-term success. Stacking soft skills is not a bonus strategy, it's essential. Communication, empathy, conflict resolution, negotiation, active listening, adaptability, emotional intelligence, these are not merely nice-to-haves. They are force multipliers. Carmen realized this the hard way. Early in her freelance career, she lost a major client because of a simple misunderstanding. The project had shifted direction, but instead of clarifying expectations, she pushed forward with her original plan. When the client voiced frustration, Carmen responded defensively. The project collapsed, not because of incompetence, but because of poor communication and a lack of emotional awareness. It was a wake-up call. She didn't just need to be good at her craft, she needed to be good with people. Soft skills create synergy between all the other abilities in your stack. They enable you to collaborate more effectively, sell ideas more persuasively, lead initiatives more confidently, and adapt more quickly to change. In a world flooded with competent technicians, soft skills are often what separate the good from the great. Consider Marcus. His coding skills got him a seat at the table, but his ability to empathize with users, to listen carefully to stakeholders, and to present his ideas clearly catapulted him into leadership roles. While other developers obsessed over perfect syntax, Marcus learned how to navigate office politics, rally teams, and translate complex ideas into simple solutions. His technical skill was respected, but it was his soft skills that made him indispensable. Stacking soft skills also creates resilience. Industries evolve, technologies shift, and markets fluctuate. Hard skills can become obsolete. But the ability to communicate, to lead, to adapt, those are timeless. They serve as the connective tissue that keeps your stack strong, even as the world around you changes. Importantly, you don't need to be born charismatic or socially gifted to develop soft skills. Like any other ability, they can be learned, practiced, and stacked intentionally. Carmen committed herself to mastering active listening, conflict resolution, and persuasive communication. She enrolled in workshops, sought feedback, and reflected after every client interaction. Over time, she noticed not just professional improvements, but personal ones too. Her relationships grew stronger, her confidence deepened, her reputation soared. One of the most powerful aspects of soft skills is that they are transferable across every domain. Whether you're launching a business, climbing the corporate ladder, freelancing, or leading a nonprofit, soft skills enhance every environment. They're the universal currency of human interaction. When building your stack, it's easy to chase shiny, hard skills because they are more visible. But neglecting soft skills is like building a mansion on a cracked foundation. Sooner or later, everything crumbles. Prioritize them. Invest in them. Stack them just as intentionally as you would coding, marketing, design, or finance. Carmen's transformation wasn't flashy, but it was profound. By stacking soft skills alongside her technical ones, she didn't just get better at what she did, she became better at who she was. Clients trusted her, teams rallied behind her, and opportunities found her. In the game of skill stacking, soft skills are the secret weapons too many overlook. In the next chapter, you'll learn how to turn your growing skill stack into serious, sustainable income. Soft skills are essential force multipliers for any skill stack. They can be intentionally learned and practiced like any other skill. Mastery of soft skills creates resilience, influence, and long-term value. Which soft skills could you strengthen right now to dramatically enhance your current stack? Choose one soft skill to develop and commit to practicing it consciously in your next 5 interactions. Chapter 9. Monetizing your skill stack. By the time Carmen had layered communication, branding, public speaking, and emotional intelligence into her skill stack, she began noticing a subtle but powerful shift. Opportunities that once felt out of reach now seemed within grasp. Clients who had previously negotiated her rates down now accepted her proposals without hesitation. She wasn't just a freelancer anymore. She was a brand, a force, a solution. The difference wasn't just in her abilities, it was in how she monetized her stack. Monetizing a skill stack isn't about charging for individual skills in isolation. It's about packaging the combination in a way that highlights the unique value created by their interaction. Specialists often get trapped competing on price. Stackers compete on uniqueness, and in doing so, they command a premium. When no one else offers what you offer in the way you offer it, price becomes a secondary consideration. Carmen realized she needed to stop presenting herself as just another copywriter. She rebranded herself as a messaging strategist, a partner who could not only write but craft the entire brand story, guide communications, and coach leaders through delivering their messages. Individually, she wasn't the best copywriter, designer, or speaker, but combined, her skills created a service few others could replicate. The key to monetization is shifting from selling labor to selling outcomes. Clients and employers don't really pay for hours worked or technical precision, they pay for results. They pay for transformation. A graphic designer sells a visual identity that attracts customers. A fitness coach sells the emotional reward of confidence and health. A marketing consultant sells revenue growth. Your skill stack must be framed around the transformation it delivers, not the tasks it performs. Marcus experienced this shift as well. Initially, he charged hourly for coding projects. But once he combined his skills in user experience, business strategy, and communication, he repositioned himself. He became a product development consultant, able to help startups shape their entire tech offering. Instead of billing for code, he billed for outcomes, product market fit, user satisfaction, business growth. His income tripled in less than a year. Not because he worked harder, but because he stacked smarter. Another critical component of monetizing your stack is storytelling. People don't just buy products or services, they buy narratives. Carmen didn't just list her skills in her proposals. She told stories about how her blend of communication, branding, and leadership had helped clients achieve specific wins. Stories make the value of a skill stack tangible. They shift the conversation from features to benefits, from price to possibility. Pricing is another area where stackers have an advantage. When you offer a unique combination of skills that solve problems holistically, you're not easily compared to others. Price shopping disappears when what you offer isn't a commodity. Carmen found that she could charge premium rates because clients couldn't simply replace her with a cheaper copywriter or branding consultant. Her value was in the fusion. Monetizing a skill stack also opens doors to multiple income streams. Consulting, courses, workshops, digital products, partnerships. The more versatile your stack, the more paths you can explore. Stackers don't just climb corporate ladders, they build their own ladders, reaching heights traditional specialists rarely touch. Ultimately, monetizing your skill stack is an act of ownership. It's recognizing that you are not just a set of isolated abilities, you are a rare, valuable ecosystem. When you understand that, communicate it clearly, and price it confidently, the market responds. Not everyone will get it. Not everyone needs to. The right clients, employers, and partners will see what you've built, and they'll be willing to pay for it. In the next chapter, you'll learn how to future-proof your stack by evolving it as the market changes, ensuring you stay valuable for years to come. Monetize the unique combination, not individual skills. Sell outcomes and transformations, not tasks. Storytelling and positioning turn a skill stack into a premium offer. How can you reposition your current skills to highlight the transformation you deliver? Draft a short narrative that frames your skills as a combined solution to a real-world problem. Chapter 10. Evolving with the market. When Carmen first built her skill stack, it felt like a superpower. She had the tools, the clients, and the confidence. But as the months rolled into years, something changed. The market shifted. New technologies emerged. Client expectations evolved. What once set her apart now became baseline. Carmen faced a choice: cling to what had worked before, or evolve her stack to meet the new demands. The difference between those who stay valuable and those who fade is simple: adaptability. Skill stacking is not a one-time project. It's a living system, an evolving ecosystem that must grow with the world around it. What makes you rare and valuable today may not guarantee relevance tomorrow. The most successful stackers understand this. They don't just build once, they keep building, keep scanning the horizon for new opportunities to learn, layer, and lead. Carmen decided not to resist the change but to embrace it. She didn't panic or assume she had to tear everything down. Instead, she audited her stack. She asked herself which skills were still high value and which ones were slipping toward commoditization. Copywriting remained crucial, but now clients craved AI integration. Branding still mattered. But with an emphasis on personal brand building across digital platforms, she didn't abandon her foundation, she updated it. Evolving with the market starts with curiosity. Those who thrive are insatiably curious about how industries, technologies, and customer behaviors are changing. They read trends not as threats but as invitations. Marcus exemplified this mindset. As AI began automating many coding tasks, he didn't see it as a death sentence for developers. He saw an opportunity to layer in skills related to AI ethics, prompt engineering, and system design. His adaptability didn't just protect his career, it expanded it. Another key to evolving a skill stack is humility. Success can breed complacency. Early wins can trick you into thinking you've arrived. But markets are unforgiving to those who believe their past achievements entitle them to a secure future. Carmen treated her success as a starting line, not a finish line. She invested time each month learning new tools, attending workshops, and seeking feedback from peers and mentors. Importantly, evolving your stack doesn't mean chasing every new trend. It means aligning new layers with your core vision. Carmen didn't suddenly become a TikTok influencer just because it was trending. Instead, she learned how to help her clients translate brand stories into short-form video, expanding her service offerings without diluting her brand. Strategic evolution preserves the integrity of your stack while amplifying its relevance. The world rewards those who move before they have to. Waiting until a skill becomes obsolete before adding new ones is like waiting until the ship sinks before looking for a lifeboat. Proactive stackers don't just react to change, they anticipate it. They pivot before the market forces their hand. Another overlooked aspect of evolving your stack is shedding. Sometimes evolution isn't about adding a new skill but letting go of one that no longer serves. Carmen retired certain services that had become low margin and high stress. She focused on higher value work, where her evolving stack had a clear edge. Pruning, like stacking, is an act of strategy. In the end, Carmen's ability to evolve kept her not just afloat, but thriving. While others lamented the difficulties of change, she leveraged them. Her stack wasn't a relic of past success, it was a living engine of ongoing relevance and growth. In the next chapter, you'll learn how to manage the hidden danger of stack fatigue and stay energized for the long journey of building and evolving. Skill stacks must evolve continuously to stay valuable. Curiosity, humility, and strategic alignment are essential for smart evolution. Shedding obsolete skills is as important as adding new ones. What is one new skill or area of knowledge you could start exploring to future-proof your stack? Spend 30 minutes researching an emerging trend in your industry and brainstorm how it could influence your skill stack. Chapter 11. Overcoming Stack Fatigue. In her third year of building her skill stack, Carmen hit a wall. What had once been exhilarating now felt exhausting. Courses she would have devoured a year earlier now seemed like chores. The constant pressure to keep learning, stacking, evolving it drained her energy and clouded her focus. For the first time, she questioned if the journey was sustainable. This was stack fatigue, the hidden danger no one warns you about when you set out to build your edge. Stack fatigue happens when the pursuit of growth becomes an endless treadmill. The desire to improve mutates into a fear of falling behind. Instead of feeling empowered by new skills, you feel burdened by them. Carmen realized she wasn't alone. Many high achievers who embraced the skill stack strategy eventually faced the same burnout. The good news was that fatigue wasn't a sign of failure, it was a sign to shift strategy. The first key to overcoming stack fatigue is remembering why you started. Carmen went back to her journals from when she first discovered the idea of stacking. She didn't begin this journey just to collect skills like merit badges. She started because she wanted freedom to choose her clients, her income, her path. That clarity reignited her motivation. Skill stacking was a means to an end, not the end itself. Another crucial step was pacing. Carmen had been operating under the unspoken belief that she had to master everything now. But skill stacking is a marathon, not a sprint. Growth compounds over time. Taking strategic breaks, celebrating milestones, and allowing periods of consolidation are not signs of weakness, they are signs of wisdom. Carmen gave herself permission to pause and to apply what she had already learned instead of immediately chasing the next certification. Marcus encountered the same challenge. After aggressively stacking for 2 years, he found himself overwhelmed, with no clear sense of direction. His solution was elegant, focused stacking. Instead of adding random skills, he narrowed his focus to strengthening the synergies within his current stack. He deepened his user experience expertise and enhanced his leadership abilities, knowing these would amplify everything else. Quality over quantity became his new mantra. Community also plays a critical role in overcoming stack fatigue. Growth can feel isolating if you travel alone. Carmen found renewed energy by connecting with others on similar journeys. Mastermind groups, peer coaching, even casual conversations with friends who understood the stacking mindset helped normalize the ups and downs. Shared struggles turned into shared strength. Managing expectations is another overlooked weapon against fatigue. Carmen had to accept that not every skill would pay off immediately. Some investments would bloom later. Some experiments would fail. But none of it was wasted. Every skill added perspective, even if it didn't add profit right away. Growth isn't linear, and neither is value creation. Finally, Carmen learned to build rest and play into her process. She treated learning as exploration again, not just obligation. She allowed herself to follow curiosity without the pressure to monetize every new ability. In doing so, she rediscovered the joy that had drawn her to stacking in the first place. Stack fatigue is real, but it's not terminal. It's a natural checkpoint, a reminder to realign, refuel, and recommit with wiser eyes. Those who learn to navigate it don't just avoid burnout, they emerge stronger, more resilient, and more intentional in their growth. In the next chapter, you'll discover how, once your stack is strong, you no longer compete where it's crowded, you create a category of one, where you truly become unstoppable. Stack fatigue signals the need to realign and refuel, not to quit. Pacing, focused stacking, community, and playful learning prevent burnout. Growth is nonlinear, and consolidation is as important as expansion. Where might you be pushing too hard in your growth journey, and where could strategic rest or refocusing help? Schedule a mini consolidation week to review and apply your existing skills before pursuing new ones. Take care and be well.